hello. Oh, oh, oh. Now I shouldn't be doubling. Nice, nice. Today, we'll be continuing, but I'm really worried that we're gonna reach a sussy scene, so I'm just gonna stop once that happens. And then figure out afterwards. Because I know some people just, stream that part to, like, Pornhub, but if the sounds aren't too much, I might just cover the screen and still read out what's happening. But if they start moaning, I could cut the audio, perhaps. Yeah, because I saw a little bit of spoilers, and I think something sussy's gonna happen with a certain individual. Let's see, is the audio... The audio feels a little quiet. What? What? Mamma mia! Oh, it's just a starting screen. I forgot this is very quiet. I'll see for the actual game how loud it is. Oh, that's okay. I headed back to my apartment where I called him on my cell. But it just rang and rang, so instead I got dressed and headed out. Rob's working, you know. Yeah. Under the clear blue sky, I ambled down the sidewalk in the direction of the flower shop. I think this is an edited photo. At least the center part is. Like these steps. Yeah, they look like it's from a photo. This may be 2. This could be drawn. Eventually I found it. The wooden building with the big glass panels. I peered in through the window. No sign of Ikuina. Oh no, did he quit because of us? Yeah. Wait, I'm covering it a bit. I get my drink. Okay. As I pulled the door open and stepped inside, a female clerk ran over to me.
いらっしゃいませ。何かお探しですか?
Welcome. What can I help you find today? I have so many drinks.
イクイナさんは?
イクイナくんはお休みです。しばらく休むと連絡がありました。
Shit. Ikuina-kun's not scheduled today. He let us know you won't be coming for a while.
そうですか。どうも。
I see. Thanks. And with that, I walked out. He was skipping work, then he was probably cooped in his house, working on his art. I pulled my phone from my coat pocket and sent him a text, asking to talk. Now all I could do was wait. And so I headed downtown to wander around and drink some booze. It's the middle of the day, bro. Alcoholic things. I like this song. I think this is Sweet Boy? During the day, the downtown area looked dull and drab. Doesn't sound drag at all. The sunlight illuminated all the dirt and stains normally concealed under the darkness of night. As I walked down the washed-out street, I spotted something wriggling in the corner of my eye. There were two figures wrestling in a dark alley. Wrestling, you know? Were they that unbearably horny right there in the middle of the day? Oh. I was just gonna pass by, but then I heard a groan and stopped short. It was a male voice, and it sounded like he was in pain, not the throes of pleasure. Curious, I turned in the direction of the alley. One man was lying on the ground while the other man was straddled him. The man on top had both hands raised over his head, holding something that glinted in the sunlight. A knife, maybe. But I wasn't scared. I walked over to them. The man with the knife leapt to his feet. Then he took off down the alley like a bat out of hell. I could smell something in the air. This residual scent, perhaps. As his footstep retreated into the distance, the man on the ground let out a whimper. On closer inspection, I could see a medicine vial on the ground beside him, along with a strangely shaped knife. Its blade was curved outwards. I crouched down and examined the victim. He was still moaning and twitching, doused with something, probably. The man who fled must have drugged him in order to try and stab him. Shit. Injured or lying on the street unconscious. Same thing nearly happened to this guy. I picked up the vial and the knife. The knife was a foldable one, so I tucked the blade away, then put it and the vial in my pocket. Over time, the victim would sober up and go back to his regular life. His attacker wasn't really trying to kill him. I knew this. Because I recognized the smell in the air. I knew what it was. I know what you are. I think this is a photo here. Looks kind of like a photo. I think it is. I turned back and headed out onto the main street. Or 17 p.m. Saturday, November 23rd. Eventually, I arrived at the high-rise condo building I had woken up in once before. Wow, he must have a really good memory if he remembers how to get back. The room number was 1403. I passed through the lobby, then rode an elevator up to the 17th floor. I think you had to get ringed in. Like, how did he get in? That looks 3D. Then I walked down the hall until I reached the door of 1403 on the number plate. I leaned in close to listen for any movement. No dice. But that didn't necessarily guarantee that no one was home. I grabbed the knob and slowly twisted it. Naturally, it was locked. You could knock. I crouched down the spot and pulled my lockpick. I crouched down on the spot and pulled my lockpick wire out of my coat pocket. I lightly bent the tip, then inserted it into the keyhole. I learned how to pick locks when I was in the Takasata Gumi. They taught it to us so that we'd be able to break into debitors' houses if they refused to answer the door. But in most cases, people would just bust the doors anyway, so it wasn't especially useful. Following my instincts, I worked the lockpick, and when I felt it give, I pulled the wire out. Then I stood up and tested the knob again. The door opened. I walked in and swiftly pulled it shut behind me. Like last time, the hall was overflowing with plants. I stepped into the house without taking my shoes off. Then I followed the hall into the room at the end and opened the door. They look kinda dead, they're like brown. There, I found the living room I remembered from last time. Like before, the walls were lined with potted plants, and there was the bed I had once woken up in. Not to mention the distinct, unique smell that filled the room. It was all exactly as I remembered it, with one significant difference. The plants had all died. Yeah, they looked dead. Including the ones in the hall. The floor was littered with petals, pruning shears, and a knife. The other gardening supplies almost like they were abandoned in the middle of a project. I pulled out the knife I'd retrieved from the alley and flicked it open. Then, I compared it to the knife on the floor. A perfect match. Except the knife on the floor had dark red stains on its blade. What were the chances I'd find another one of these strangely shaped knives entirely by coincidence? I refolded the knife in my hand and put it back in my pocket. On the floor by the first aid kit, I could see dark droplets of liquid. They were dried, sticky, and faintly red. Blood, probably. He's on his period! I looked over at the bed and noticed something long, thin, and white mixed in with the messy sheets. See it? As I approached, I realized it was an unraveled bandage. Okay, where though? It reminded me of the time I woke up here. Then I looked over the table. There was some sort of lump sitting there. At first I thought it was a chunk of raw meat, but it wasn't. It was something I recognized. Though it was crushed and discolored. The blue rose? I walked over to the table and examined the lump. It looked a lot like the wound photo posted on Ruth's blog. Fairies had created by making a flower look like a gash. Which would mean this condo could only belong to one person. And the lingering scent of the man who fled matched this room perfectly. Slowly, my lips curled in a smile. After the sun set, I headed straight to Roost. When I walked in, Ray spotted me and walked over.
とはどうだった？生稲さんと連絡取れた？
How'd it go, Toa-san? Did you get a hold of Ikuina-san?
店に行ったらしばらく休むって連絡があったらしい。電話もしたけど出ない。メッセージは送った。
When I went to the flower shop, they said he wouldn't be coming in for a while. I tried calling him, but he didn't answer, so I sent a text. He frowned at me, concerned.
そう。生稲さん、トワの一言がそんなにショックだったのかしら。
Whatever you said to him must have really crushed him. I shrugged wordlessly. Then I walked over to the counter and sat down. He followed after me and let out a sigh.
まあ、あとはもう待つしかないわね。あまりしつこくするのも良くないでしょうし。
Well, I guess all we can do now is wait. Not like we can force him to talk to us. Just then, I heard the door open and someone walked in.
いらっしゃいま。嘘。
What? What? No way! Ray looked over to the door and immediately clapped a hand to his mouth. Oh, he's got that edgy eye bag look. Naturally, I turned and looked. Standing there was an awkward smile on his face. Was Ikuina.
こんばんは。
Oh no! So far. Good evening.
生稲さん、ちょっと大丈夫？
Ikuina-san, are you okay? Ray hurried over to him. He blinked in mild puzzlement.
何がですか？
What do you mean?
あ、ほら、トワが失礼なこと言っちゃったんでしょ？それで気を悪くしたんじゃないかと思って。
Well, I mean, I heard Towa was rude to you, so I thought it might have made you feel bad.
ああ。
Oh. He pursed his lips and shook his head slightly.
大丈夫です。
I'm okay.
本当に？
You sure?
はい。
Yes.
でも、なんだかすごく疲れてるっていうか、顔色が悪いみたいだけど。
Well, you look really tired, or maybe kind of sick?
あ、これはちょっと寝不足で、本当に大丈夫です。
Oh, I'm just sleep deprived. I'm okay. Really?
そう。だったらよかった。それじゃ、こちらへどうぞ。
Ah, glad to hear it. Anyways, come on in. Oh, shit. Ray led Ikuina to the counter. I could sense him looking at me, but I made a point of ignoring him. He sat down beside me, smiling faintly.
トワさん、メッセージ見ました。ありがとうございます。
Got your text, Towa-san. Thank you.
ああ。
Sure. I glanced at him out of the corner of my eye. Ray was right. The guy looked kind of gaunt. His eyes were sharper than before.
ご注文は？
What will you have?
アブさんを。
Abe-san.
トワは？
What about you, Towa?
お任せで。
Surprise me.
はーい。店長！
Okay, boss, would you? The manager and I had started making our drinks. I lit a cigarette, took a drag, and accepted. Shit. Disconnected for a bit. No idea why. Anyways. Well, I'm really glad you finally showed up, Ikuina-san. Towa here felt awful about what he said.
そうなんですか。
Is that so? Ikuina looked at Ray in surprise, then shifted his gaze to me.
おい。
Dude. He's winking. I glared at Ray, who stuck his tongue out at me.
どうぞ。
Here you are.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Ikuina took his glass.
生稲さん、トワに不満とか言いたいこと全部ぶつけちゃっていいわよ。どうぞごゆっくり。
Ikuina-san, by all means, feel free to give Toa a piece of your mind. Take as much time as you need. With a joke and a wink, Ray grabbed a dishcloth and a tray and walked off. I sipped my drink in silence.
ウイスキーベースのオリジナルカクテルだよ。どう？
I made you a whiskey cocktail of my own invention. How do you like it? The manager called out to me to get my feedback.
うまい。
It's good.
よかった。
Excellent. I could tell the drink was tailored to my preferences. As for Ikuina, he took tiny sips of his absinthe. We sat there in silence, like perfect strangers. The air between us was tense. Then I sensed his gaze, and when I glanced over at him, our eyes met. He was looking at me with determination.
父さん、
Toa-san. His tone was one of steadfast conviction.
俺をモデルにしてもらうことは、やっぱりできませんか？
Are you sure you can't use me as an art model? I looked away without saying anything.
父さんに見てもらいたいものがあるんです。
There's something I'd like you to see. He grabbed the rucksack at his feet, pulled out a folder the size of a memo pad, and set it on the counter. Cigarette between my lips, I picked up the folder and opened it to find a stack of photographs, the size of postcards. There were about 30 of them, and they were all featured flowers, made to look like wounds. As I flipped through, his art style began to evolve dramatically. They made the one posted to Ruth's blog look tame by comparison. These new ones featured tacky oversaturated colors. I agree, oversaturated colors can be tacky. And scattered petals. At this point, you couldn't really tell he was trying to imitate flesh wounds. Subjective opinions of his style of evolution aside, his new work was brimming with unnaturally raw
どうで
passion.
すか？
What do you think? Ikuina spoke hesitantly as he attempted to gauge my reaction.
悪くない。
Not bad. It was my honest opinion. After all, it was hard to find an artist who could embed their work with this much heat. It was reminiscent of an artist in his declining years. At my response, a relieved smile crept up on Ikuina's face.
ありがとうございます。でも、俺ちょっと花から離れようと思ってて。
Thank you very much. But actually, I'm thinking about moving away from flowers.
やめるのか？
You're quitting?
はい。ちょっといろいろ抑えきれなくて、店に立つのも難しくなってしまって。
Yes, you see, I'm starting to have trouble holding back. So much so, I can't even work at the store. He rolled up his sleeves. Both arms were covered in bandages from wrist to elbow. Red stains seeped through here and there.
気がついたら、花じゃなくて腕を。花じゃ物足りなくなってしまって、どうしても我慢できなくて。
Before I knew it, I was cutting myself instead of the flowers. They're just not enough to placate me anymore.
物足りなくなった。
So you want more?
本当に作りたいものは花の作品じゃないんです。でも、それを実行するのはとても難しくて。
What I truly want to make doesn't involve flowers, but it would be difficult to create.
いや、多分、やってはいけないことで、それは分かってるんだけど、でも、
Honestly, it's probably wrong of me to do it. I get that, but... He mumbled to himself under his breath. I put my cigarette out in the ashtray. It was time. Ikuina's cat, Attalus, had gone exactly to plan.
気が変わった。
I changed my mind.
え?
What?
あんたを描く気になった。
I feel like painting you after all. Exhaling cigarette smoke, I smiled at him faintly. He looked at me in shock. His lips quivered.
本当に?
You mean it?
ああ。
Yeah. Out of nowhere, Ikuina grabbed his glass and downed his absinthe in a single swallow.
ちょっと大丈夫?
Whoa there, are you okay? Ray came rushing over like he was supervising us from a distance.
大丈夫です。
was.
すみません。
Yes, I'm okay. I apologize. Wiping his mouth with the back of his hand, he bowed to Ray, then he looked at me with feverish eyes.
嬉しいです。本当にありがとうございます。どうして気が変わったんですか?
This means so much to me. Thank you, really. So, what made you change your mind? I fixed him with a meaningful look.
もし俺が酔いつぶれたら、お前が介抱してくれるんだろ?
If I get blackout drunk tonight, you'll nurse me back to health, right? Instantly, the color drained from his face. His expression was stiff with a blend of hope and despair.
その前に酔いつぶれないように気をつけなきゃって。生稲さん?
Hey, I told you to be more careful about... Ikuina-san? Ikuina jumped to his feet, whipped some money out of his wallet, and slapped it down on the counter. Then he grabbed his rucksack and headed for the door.
やだ、どうしたのかしら。まだ具合が悪かったとか?
Sheesh, what's gone into him? Is he still not feeling well? Ray murmured in concern as he watched Ikuina disappear outside. I let out a dry laugh and raised my glass to my lips. Oh, that's cutting. Oh. I left Roost and ambled down the bustling Ko-O street. But I still had some time left. Maybe I should go see him before I go home. Time to go say hi! Let's do it, sisters. Okay. Time to go see Ray. Oh. No. Okay, I have to pick one, it seems. I think I'll save. Well, I'll continue, but I mean, like, I feel like this is where you branch paths. Because it's making me pick between the two, and I was reading about the paths. You have to first complete Ray and Taco's route, and then 2 other routes get unlocked, so I have to basically pick. Okay, how do I get the menu? I would like to get the menu. Options? Oh, well, I guess I can skip. Ah! No! Yeah. Oh, this is where it branches off.
Chotto?
Oh gosh, what's up, Toa? I left and came back. Need to drink more. Seriously? Good grief, you're such a hot mess. Just one more, you hear me? What'll it be? Anything.
はあ
Got it. Here you are. Ikuina-san sure ran off in a hurry, didn't he? I sure hope he's okay. You care too much. No, you don't care enough. I'm convinced you must have crushed him when you rejected those flowers. That would explain why he's feeling sick. Are you even listening? Yeah. What's got you zoning out? I mean, no offense, but you're acting kind of weird.
どうかした
You're like bizarrely chipper. Did something good happen?
知らないな。
I don't know, it's probably the alcohol. Liar, you haven't drank enough to get that kind of buzz. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. That night, I was lying on the sofa, wasting time like always. Listening to the TV's drone, I navigated to Ruth's blog on my phone. As I scrolled through the new articles, a name caught my eye. Grace. The posted artwork was unlike anything that had come before. Instead of modifying a flower to look like a wound, he had placed a single strawberry on top of a white fabric, nothing more. For a moment, I questioned whether this was really a phrase piece, but then I recognized what it had in common with the rest. There was a half-inch incision on the surface of the berry, spread apart to reveal a sliver of the flesh inside. In my view, this was a more direct message than any of the others had been. Why had he chosen to use fruit instead of flowers? It's more fleshy, I imagine. More juicy. Strawberry flowers. The little white ones. Did strawberries have a meaning in flower language too? Wait, do they? On a whim, I looked it up. Sure enough, there it was. Esteem and love, fruitfulness, and fertility. Sharp eyes, you make me happy. Feature heavily in the paintings of the Virgin Mary, often in the detail of the picture or as a border. Oh, that's interesting. Sharp eyes comes from ancient belief that strawberries can soothe swelling of the eyes. Fruitfulness and fertility refers to the strawberry plant's many offshoots. Cute. You make me happy. Grace knew I visited this blog, so maybe this was a message directed at me. A message from Ikuina, the artist phrase. The flower sender. It was just past 3 a.m. I grabbed a bottle of booze off the floor, brought it to my lips, and took a swig. I loudly chugged the lukewarm fluid, then lowered the bottle. I needed to get as drunk as possible. Uh-oh. I'd already pre-gamed at Roost earlier, so by the time I pulled my coat on and left the room, I was already unsteady on my feet. Bruh. I had no guarantee that it would happen tonight, nor any proof. But something in my gut told me it would. That was why, back at Roost.
もし俺が酔いつぶれたら、お前が介抱してくれるんだろ?
If I get back out drunk tonight, you'll nurse me back to health, right? I had intentionally made that comment. As far as I could tell, Ikuina was reaching his limit. If flowers could no longer sate his hunger, then he would surely prowl the streets, looking for prey passed out in the gutter. Really interesting. Pressing a hand against the wall for support, I passed through the waiting room and out of the building. I was pretty sure I knew how to lure Phrase out of hiding. I smirked to myself like a hunter setting a snare. I should revisit the place I passed out. Direct exploration. The biting cold felt great against my flesh skin. I'm just gonna go to places. Just see if I can run into anyone. Ah, no one's here. But I had passed a handful of people on the street on my way here, but none of them were who I was looking for. I couldn't sense anyone telling me, but it was hard to say for sure. No, wait. Anything else? A lot of time had passed since Frey's submission went up. Surely he was getting impatient by now. No point in speculating, I know where to go. And devoid of human life. Oh, it just repeats. As I staggered along the building walls down the street, someone tapped my shoulder from behind.
Tosa!
Stop, Tosan! He's gonna be, from, Texas. He's got that Texan-like, pattern to his shirt. He's got that, you know, that slutty, button open shirt, too. Yeah.
平気っすか?
Wow, you're looking a little unsteady there. You okay? Yeah.
Ah.
I just finished up my work, so I can help you get back to the clinic if you want. Nah, no need. I'm going somewhere else. In that condition? You sure? Well, just be careful, Toa-san. It's cold today. Alright. Guess I had to go here in the end. While the night was still dark, I staggered drunkenly into an empty alley. Without a moment of hesitation, I laid myself down on the filthy ground. If memory served, this was right around where I had passed out last time. With the chill of the concrete at my back, I gazed up in the inky sky, then closed my eye. With my vision obscured, my other senses sharpened. Smell. I could smell something decaying, the reek of the sewer, the humid air. Hearing, I could hear the bustle of the city in the distance, the wail of ambulance sirens, the clink of cans as someone dug through a garbage bin. I started to disassociate until I was just a series of stimuli floating there, unattached to my physical form. Oddly enough, it was peaceful. Then, as my drunken brain struggled to function, I heard the sound of footsteps. I could feel the vibrations through the ground. Judging from the speed at which they were moving, someone was walking very carefully. Footsteps approached, then stopped short beside me. I caught a whiff of a familiar scent. Like Epstein, but slightly different. But I couldn't open my eye. After all, I was passed out drunk. They crouched down and opened the front of my coat. Then they quietly pushed my shirt up and I felt a faint sting of pain in my midsection. Did they cut me? Yes, sister. Silence followed after that. But I could feel them there, right next to me. After a long pause, they moved once more. This time, something touched my cheek. Fingers grasped my chin, trying to force my mouth open. Since I was playing possum, I couldn't fight it. My mouth opened and a small amount of liquid trickled inside. I almost swallowed it on reflex, but managed to stop myself, instead holding the bitter liquid in my mouth. They grabbed my arm, putting it around their shoulders, and attempted to haul me up. Oh. While they were distracted with that, I turned my head and spat out the liquid. They put her arm around my waist and started walking slowly, as if they were just escorting me home. And since I was pretending to be unconscious, I let them drag me along. Suddenly, I was flung down onto a soft surface. On the way here, I had opened my eye faintly to confirm what I already knew. This was the same condo from last time. I could hear someone breathing heavily over me. Something cold touched my cheek. Surely he knew, right? It was probably a knife, right? The room smelled strongly of that of almost obscene scent. It had to be his natural odor. Quietly, I opened my eye. I'm scared that, something naughty will show.
トワさん、
Oh-san. There, in that dimly lit room, I locked eyes with Ikuina. I was lying on a bed and he had crawled up on top of me, pressing a knife to my cheek.
本当はずっと起きてたんでしょ
You were awake the whole time, weren't you?
お前だって分かってて連れてきたんだろ。
You knew that, and yet you brought me here anyway. I spoke matter-of-factly, like I hadn't even noticed the knife.
やりたきゃやれよ。
If you want to do it, then go ahead.
もう耐えられないんじゃないのか。
You can't take it anymore, right? Trembling, Ikuina bit his lip and lowered the knife, pressed to my cheek.
全部お見通しってことですか
You weren't surprised by any of this, are you?
分かりやすいからな、お前。
You made it kinda obvious, pal. Yeah, you laid it on thick.
俺が書くのは人が心の奥に秘めてる願望だ。
I paint the desires hidden deep inside the human heart. His eyes shimmered in trepidation. Quietly, I looked back at him. Gazed deeply into his eyes, trying to read every tiny shift in emotion. If I could get him locked onto me, I could take control. Right now, he was looking at me like he was entranced. But this was no superpower. It was just a skill I picked up from my mother, the art of conversation and negotiation. I had next to no memory of my past, but I could vaguely remember her repeatedly teaching me how to talk to people. She described it as a way to get close to someone without misreading their intentions. According to her, the human heart was fragile. I was probably only this good at it because I had inherited this talent from my mother. As far as I knew, she was adored by everyone around her. Though she probably never imagined I would use those same skills for something like this.
ただの願望じゃない。絶対に叶えてはいけないような、歪み切ってねじ曲がった願望だけを俺は書く。
Not just any ordinary desire. What I paint are the dark, twisted dreams people would do anything to make real.
お前もあるんだろうな。花なんかじゃ満たされない何かが。
And I bet you have one too. A thirst that flowers can't slake.
吐き出せ。そうしたら書いてやる。
Spill your guts, and I'll paint it for you. Ikuina slumped his shoulder weakly. The knife in his hand fell to the bed.
さあ、話せ。
Now start talking.
俺は
I... Talk to him and calm him down. Oh shit. Time to save. I want to get it here. Right?
それで、
Do you like hurting people?
いえ
No, that's not it. For
ネガティブに。は、
Well then, do you like hurting people while they're unconscious?
違います
No. Aw, shit. Wait, let me go back. Aw, shit. Quick load. Yes.
「それで、
いえ
ポジティブに。
Show affection.
なるほど。
You described it as caring for people, so I doubt you're only doing it to hurt them.
はい
Right. What's gotten into you?
ああ。呆れるな。
Surely, something must have gotten you to this hobby. What was the trigger?
これは、
Is your house covered in plants because you're trying to distract yourself?
それは
Not exactly. It's also a hobby of mine.
ネガティブ。本当に？
Yes. Whoa. What happened? His smoke is moving sluggishly, and its color is dark and dreary.
そうだな。
Why did you come to Shinkogumi? Did you figure you could achieve your goal here?
それは
Well... we're
ネガティブに。
gonna fuck up, aren't I? After all, nobody here bats an eye when people get hurt or killed. Oops. I fucked up. Oh, that looks romantic as hell. Yeah, forget it. All of a sudden I lost interest and fell silent. My god, this guy is so... My god. Oh, thank you.
さあ、
俺は
This is tricky.
それで
いえ、
ポジティブ。なるほど。
はい。
Yeah, I think this is the right option.
呆れるな。これは
それ、
Okay, this is...
ポ
Yeah,
ジティ
don't
ブに
forget to click this.
そうか。
So now you've reached a point where you can't lie to yourself anymore. Yes, I'd say so. It's no use. Oh shit. Smoke seems pretty stable, both in color and movement.
そうだな。
Why did you come to Shinkoumi? Did you figure you could achieve your goal here?
それは、
Well,
ネガティブに
after all, nobody here bats an eye when people get hurt or killed. Oh, it's perfect. But if you make one wrong move, it's over. You'll end up lying on the pavement yourself. I know that. I do, but I'm just so miserable. Oh shit. Did I fuck up again? Are you kidding me? Oh. Jesus. This is so... I was almost there. I guess the last thing I should have just, like, said nothing.
さあ
俺は、
それで
いえ、
ポジティブな。
Positive!
ああ。これは
Shit, what did you say?
ポジティブにそうか。
Now he's so happy.
そうだ。
それは、
ネガティブに
And here I just say nothing. I'm pretty sure this is
欲望の答えは
your true desire. I'm gonna save because I don't want to do that shit again. Let me leave.
傷興味があるのか
Does it interest you?
それは、
Well, did I pick the wrong one? Maybe it's this one.
フレーズ
So not this.
フレーズの意味は
What does phrase mean?
いちごって意味なんです。
It's French for strawberry. There's gotta be more to it.
傷を
The wound.
傷興味があるのか
Does it interest
それ
you?
は、
Well, there's gotta be more to it.
この傷跡
This scar. What did Ikuina use for his art? The fuck does that mean again? Flowers!
花。花が好き。本当に花が好きなのか？
You say you like flowers, but is it really the flowers you like? Well,
本当は
the truth is, we know, sister.
Mada.
Done. This isn't enough.
待ってください。
Wait, please. Oh.
気になるか？
Are you interested in my scars? Okay, I'm gonna save. I don't want to have to. Just quick save.
はい。
Yes.
ネガティブ。ああ。
I could tell right away. You stare too damn much. Oh. Huh. I think this.
あ
Blister.
いいぜ。
You can touch him if you want to. If it's you, I don't mind.
お前
Sure.
は。
Do you want to give someone scars? Cut them?
ネガティブに。
トワさん。
Oh. His smoke is lighter and softer now. Which do you prefer, cutting or being cut? What?
Negative.
You've done a lot of cutting, so I'm guessing you're not into receiving. Jesus. Say
Yeah.
nothing. If you tell it to me straight, oh. What am I gonna
Negative.
sweat? Want me to finish that thought, then start talking. Oh shit. The episode. To you. Are you still hesitating? Oops. What? Huh? You're kidding me.
Negative に。
Eh?
Negative に。
Swear.
ああ。憎いな。
Y'all insane. Oh my god.
ポジティブ。助けてやる。
I'll make your dream come true. cut into you. Are you still hesitating?
この傷跡を
The scar. The symbol of his desire is.
花
Oh shit, I fucked up.
花が好きなんだろ
Flowers, right?
も
I just. Oh, I don't think. Did I get. There's gotta be more to it.
求めているものは
What you really want. Oh, it lets me redo. Symbol of his desire is. Holy fuck.
花言葉
Not the
花言葉には詳しいのか
Do you know a lot about flower
う
language?
好きなので奥が
I
深
like
いですよね。
It's actually quite deep. There's gotta be more.
傷跡を
Oh, keeps letting me redo it.
水鏡な女神
Probably not this, but
水鏡な女神って呼ばれてるな
call you the goddess of whimsy.
おかしな名前つけますよね。
Funny nickname, isn't it?
この傷跡
Scar. It's probably this, but it's like me like redo everything. Oh, maybe it's this.
傷本当に興味があるのは傷だよな
What really interests you is cuts, isn't that right?
はい。
Yes.
ああ全部わかった
I understand completely.
切り裂きたい
What's
それがお前の望みなんだな
That's your dark desire.
あ、そうです。その通り。
Yes, it is. You're exactly right. What? Wow.
俺が本当に欲しいものは花なんかじゃない。ただ花で代用していただけなんだ。
What I truly want isn't mere flowers. I'm just using the flowers as a surrogate.
俺は本当は人の肌につけられた傷が見たい。正確には傷の中身が。
The truth is, I want to see wounds engraved in human flesh. Or more specifically, I want to see inside the wounds.
でもそんなことはできないから。自分の腕を傷つけても見たけど、やっぱり物足りなくて。
But obviously, I can't do that. I tried cutting my own arm, but it just wasn't enough. He squinted his eyes as if enduring invisible pain, then he smiled faintly.
花は人みたいに抵抗しないのに、傷つければ体液を流してくれる。
Flowers don't resist like people do, and yet, if you cut them, they still bleed.
それがなんだか俺を受け入れてくれてるように感じて慰められた。
It felt like they validated the person I am inside, and it was reassuring.
花さえあればなんとかなる。そう思ってたのに、だんだん物足りなくなってきて。
I told myself that as long as I had my flowers, I would be alright. But over time, I found myself wanting more and more.
それに花を何度も潰してるうちに、なんだかかわいそうにもなってきて。
The flowers, the more guilty I felt. his hesitant gaze locked onto me. Like, really romantic. But also, like, you know, there's a lot of layers behind it.
不思議と人に対してはそう思わないんです。かわいそうって。でも人はすごく抵抗するからなかなかいいようにできなくて。
Oddly enough, I don't feel that way toward people. Guilt, I mean. But people always fight back, so I can never get exactly what I want.
ずっとどうすればいいのかを考えてて思いついたんです。切ってから手当てをする方法を。
All this time, I had been agonizing over what I should do. Then I came up with my current cut and patch method.
それなら怪我をさせてもまだ許されるんじゃないかと思って。
That way, maybe they'd forgive me for hurting them.
それにこの町にはデスマッチがあるから怪我人が道端に転がっていてもそれほど気にしないでしょう。
Since the city is home to death matches, I figured no one would notice a few extra injured lying on the streets.
今度は周りの目が厳しくてとてもじゃないけどできません。だから俺はこの町に来たんです。
I could never get away with it back on the mainland, where everyone's paranoid. That's why I came here.
治安が悪いって言ったらそれまでだけど、新興味は本土よりも俺と似たような人が多いんじゃないかって思ったから。
Sure, perhaps it's just that Shinkomi has a higher crime rate, but I felt like maybe I would find a kindred spirit here. Kikuina paused, then let out a breath, his brow tightly knitted.
人を傷つけるのは最小限にとどめて、あとは花で代用して、そうやって自分を騙しながらやってきたけど、もう無理です。
All this time, I've kept human victims to a minimum while using flowers as a surrogate, trying to lie to myself, but I can't anymore.
物足りなくて苦しくて、誰かを切れば切るほどどんどん欲求が膨れ上がって。
I need something more. It's killing me. The more people I cut, the more I crave.
そんな時に偶然トワさんが倒れているのを見つけて。
Then I found you passed out entirely by chance.
切りつけてから手当てをしている時に見たんです。体中に残る傷跡を。
And when I was cutting you, that's when I discovered the scars all over your body.
全身が震えるほどのショックを受けて、その時に自分の欲望をはっきりと自覚しました。
And it hit me like a freight train, and I started to shiver. That was the moment I fully understood what I wanted.
ああ、俺本当は心ゆくまで誰かを切ってみたいんだって。切ってその中身が見たいって。
Yes, what I truly want is to cut someone into shreds. I want to see inside them.
俺をこの部屋に連れ込んだのもそのせいか。
So that's why you brought me to your condo. Grimacing, he nodded.
はい。ただあの時は切る目的じゃなくて、トワさんの傷跡をもっと見たいと思ったんです。
Yes, except my goal wasn't to keep cutting you. I just want to see more of your scars.
トワさんの傷、特に胸の真ん中にある大きな傷が。
I love your cuts, especially the big one right at the center of your chest. Distracted by the memory, he swallowed.
胸の傷が本当にすごくて、どうやったらこんな風になるんだろうって思って。
Your chest scar is truly sublime. It makes me wonder how it was achieved in the first place.
トワさんを解放した後、興奮が収まらなくて眠れなくて。
After I treated you, the thought kept me up at night with sheer excitement.
すぐにトワさんが倒れていたあたりへ戻って聞き込みをしたんです。体中が傷だらけの人を知らないかって。
So I went back to the area where I found you and started asking around about a man with scars all over his body.
あの時はトワさんの名前も知らなかったけど、
Back then I didn't know your name, but
ある人と知り合って その人からトワさんのことを教えてもらってルーストにも行ったんです。
Then I met someone who told me all about you. From there, I went to Roost.
ある人。
Who
誰
told
だ？
you?
それはすみません、言えません。
It's probably that freak with the headphones and green hair. About that, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you. Guiltily, he averted his eyes.
匿名の花の配達もわざとか？
Was the anonymous flower delivery part of your plan?
はい、トワさんに近づくために。でもどうして俺だって分かったんですか？
Yes, I wanted an opportunity to get close to you, but how would you know they were from me?
花言葉だ。気持ちを込めすぎたな。
Flower language, you made it way too obvious.
ああ、正直気づいてほしいという気持ちもあったので。
Honestly, part of me wanted you to figure it out. You laughed bashfully.
それに、お前が配達した花からアブさんの匂いがした。
And another thing, the flowers you delivered always smelled like Abysthine.
アブさん？
What's that?
ヨモギか。
Oh, you mean wormwood?
この部屋の匂い、そうだろ。
That's what this room smells like, right?
そうです。ヨモギは昔ばあちゃんが家で育てていて、なんとなく好きなんです。匂いを嗅ぐと落ち着くんですよね。
Yes, that's right. My grandmother used to grow wormwood, and I liked it a lot. The smell is very soothing. Wait, I want to write that for later. I want to search that up. Wormwood. Oops.
だから香り袋を作って部屋のあちこちに置いてるんです。もちろん育ててもいますし。
That's why I made little wormwood sachets and placed them all over the house. And I grow it myself, of course. I love mint. Maybe I should do that.
でも匂いってそんなに映るものなんですね。自分では全然気がつかなかったです。うかつだったな。
Still, I didn't realize the smell would cling to me to that extent. I couldn't tell. How careless of me. And yet, for some reason, he was smiling.
俺、トワさんなら俺の気持ちを分かってくれるんじゃないかってずっと思ってました。
All this time, I believed that you would understand how I feel.
人の傷の中身が見たいっていう妄想だけが膨らんでいって、今はもう自分でもどうすればいいのかわからないんです。
My fantasy of seeing inside a wound has grown more and more intense. And by this point, I don't know what to do about it anymore.
昔からそうだったのか？
Have you always felt this way?
いえ、ただ子供の頃にすごくショックを受けたことがあって、多分それからだと思います。
No, but I experienced a deeply traumatic incident during my childhood. And I think that might have started it.
ショック？
What happened?
はっきりとは覚えてないんですけど、子供の頃誰かをナイフで傷つけたんです。何度も何度も。
I don't remember all the details, but when I was a child, I cut someone with a knife. Over and over.
すごく怖くて逃げ出したくて、でも傷から真っ赤な血があふれるところはよく覚えていて。
It was terrifying. I wanted to run, but I remember watching the blood pour out from the cuts.
それが影響してるんじゃないかとは思います。
And I think that had a lasting effect on me. Once he was finished, Ikuina took a deep breath and closed his eyes. He was clearly trying to get his emotions under control. His flushed cheeks and pursed lips betrayed the shame he felt. Meanwhile, I shot a quick glance around the room. The floor and the table were both littered with flower petals, as was the bed, as if for decorative effect.
やれよ。
Do it. What? At this, his eyes widened in surprise.
お前の願望は分かった。好きにしていい。
I understand what you desire, so make it happen.
父さん。
He stared at me in disbelief. I rolled up one of my sleeves, revealing the scarred flesh of my arm, and offered it to him. Hands shaking, he slowly picked up the knife and pointed the tip at me.
本当にいいんですか？
Are you really sure about this? I'm not. Let me get a sensor. That sounds like something naughty's gonna happen. Like the music, you can hear it. The music's like, oh. Why is that not fully? I hope that censors most of it. You can kind of make it out though. I'm scared. Hope that's good enough. Wait, let me see. Can I increase the opacity? Which... that's just in case I need it. I should have prepared this beforehand, but you know how it be. Yeah, that's just in case. Just in case. Just in case. Hesitantly, he stopped the knife just before it touched my skin. My only response was a faint smile. His expression stiffened, and he stared down at my bare flesh. Then, summoning his resolve, he pressed the blade to my skin. That should be fine. And drew a cut across it. Slowly, the line turned scarlet as beads of blood rose to the surface. They made it really romantic. Mixed in with his heavy breathing, I could hear what sounded like a moan. As the cut stung, I donned a provocative sneer.
まだまだここからだろう。ほら。
Is that all you've got? Come on. I thrust my arm at him, goading him on further. First cut must have flipped a switch in him, because this time he sank the knife into me without hesitation. Deeper too. A sharp pain made me grunt. Unlike sex or violence, the pain of pierced flesh was especially vivid. It had been a while since I last felt it. As a thrill set in, I licked my lips. Now there were two fresh cuts side by side. The blood from the second overtook that of the first. I'm scared. A coppery smell filled the room. A knife fell to the bed, leaving a big red stain on the white sheets. Now it looked as though the petals were floating atop a sea of blood.
父さん、父さん。
Called out to me desperately. As the aching pain rushed to my head, I spread the cut wider with my fingers. There was so much blood, it almost looked fake. A sliver of pale pink flesh was visible deep inside. This guy should just study anatomy or some shit. Ikuina saw it and swallowed hard. He wants it. He gazed at the cut like it was a long-lost lover. So is what he had been yearning for. Gently, he took my bloody arm, spread the cut, and gazed inside hungrily. Meanwhile, I picked the knife off the bed and slashed the back of his hand with no warning. Startled, he pulled his hand away and looked at me. He's a bit of a freak. With a daring grin, I licked the blood from the blade.
俺にもやらせろよ。お前の中身、見せろ。
You have to let me play too. Show me your insides.
とわさん。
Seemed to open the floodgates, so to speak.
待って。胸の傷、見せてください。
Wait, show me your chest scar. He took the knife from me and used it to cut my shirt in half. So doing, he revealed the scar that ran straight down the center of my chest. He froze, paralyzed. I drew my bleeding arm to my chest and rubbed it back and forth, right in front of him. In a blink, a fresh coat of crimson paint was applied to my raised scars. We're both breathing hard, and I could see Ikuina's bulge through his pants. But right now, I wasn't looking for the root pleasure of boring old regular sex. I wanted us to penetrate each other with the knife inside? Neither of us said a word, but we both knew. Ikuina grasped the knife and pressed the tip just below my clavicle. Oh my, I think I'm gonna... Sorry. Then, in a single swift motion, he dragged it down towards my navel. Pain of this cut was far more intense than the last. It shot through the center of my body, making me gasp for breath. Now a new cut was bleeding parallel to my chest scar. Breathing heavily, Ikuina tossed the knife away, ran both his hands over my chest. Pressed his thumb to the fresh incision and slowly spread it apart. I grimaced and groaned. It was agony. It felt like he was literally ripping me apart. And I loved it. My brain converted the bone-rattling pain into pleasure. In that sense, it was actually soothing. Oh shit. YouTube. Fuck. The more directly it injured my physical body, the better. And the more passionate, the better. I wanted more. Let's see. That could be better censored. It's like... like that. I'm scared, man. I feel like I'm gonna have to edit the VOD. Ikuana spread my chest wound and let out a gasp that was both sensual and wistful. The cut wasn't deep enough to see my organs, but it was still flesh normally hidden from sight. Not that he was faced with a kind of wound he always dreamed of. Ikuina trembled. Blood. The living flesh wriggled and breathed.
とわさん、綺麗だ。
Son, you're beautiful. His voice was an entranced murmur. I gasped for breath. I laughed and plucked the knife from his hand. Flustered, he stripped his clothes off and leaned in close to me. So close our noses almost touched. Our lips almost touched. My god. Yeah. Wow. Not the BL. Oh my god. BL? In my BL game? More likely than you think. Wow. I pressed the knife to his chest and dragged it down. What the fuck? Wait, give me a second. Haha! Oh shit! That's how I censor. Anyways. Maybe I'll just... I'm just afraid, man. I'm just afraid. Nah. Ikuina let out a small yelp and gritted his teeth. A single cut has formed on his otherwise flawless chest, crying tears of blood onto me. I sat up slightly and ran my tongue along the incision. Started from the bottom and worked my way up. The taste of metal filled my mouth. Whoa, he looks happy. Good for him. Oh shit. Good for him. I'm glad you found what made you happy. Yeah. Glad you're happy. That's nice. Good for you, champ. Dr. Punica's proud of you. With his brows knitted tightly, he looked at me and smiled, still dripping fluid onto me. There on his face, pain and pleasure had jumbled together to create a true joy.
とわさんとお揃いですね。同じような後になるかな。
Now we both match, I see. You think I'll end up with a scar just like yours?
さあな。
Beats me. Whoa. This smile deepened slowly. He climbed further on top of me. Oh my goodness. We were now connected by our chest cuts. Holy shit. I feel like you could get infection from that. The old beneath the new. This was what we wanted. Our blood mixed between our bodies wet and warm. Intermittent pain was proof that we were still alive. Every time he moved, our cuts caught on each other, spreading each other open. I could feel his soft flesh. It kept pouring, enveloping our bodies in damp warmth.
とわさん。
Karina took the knife and pressed it against my arm. As it moved, a new cut was born beneath it, red fluid trailing just behind. Next, I took the knife and cut him right back. As our chest cuts joined together, we continued to carve into each other's bodies, showing the endless pain.
とわさん、とわさん。
As my consciousness grew fuzzy from the pain and blood loss, I started to laugh. Every breath I took was wet with blood. As my fingers clutched the sheets, they brushed something. Scattered petals. I grabbed a handful and sprinkled them onto Ikuina's back. Ah! Oh, that hand's from the opening. As they fluttered down, a flute slipped in between us and landed in the blood, which quickly stained them red. Almost like little chunks of meat had been torn off of us. Laughing, I grabbed even more petals and scattered them over his back over and over. All the blood and petals and cuts, we must have looked insane. In fact, we were. I accepted that insanity and returned it with full force. The output was a work of art. I mixed other people's madness with my own, blended it and kneaded it and painted it. In that sense, my art was always a group project, made of other people's vomit and excretia. Never knew people's insides could be so beautiful. I always yearned to see it. And you were the one to show it to me, Toa-san. It means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Rei,
Ray,
終わった。
it's over.
迎えに来てくれ。場所は
Do me a favor and come get me. The address is. After Ikuina's euphoric episode, I scraped together the last dregs of my conscious mind. Then, with shaking fingers, I placed a call on my cell phone. Luckily, Ray picked up, and 20 or 30 minutes later, he and Taku came running into Ikuina's condo. That's right when I thought would happen. I went back home to the clinic, but Ikuina was taken to a different facility, the Takanokuchi medical office. Apparently, Taku made the call after he saw that my injuries were a lot worse than he was expecting. After cutting each other to shreds, Ikuina and I had lost a lot of blood. If I had waited any longer, he said I might have died. Wow. But from my perspective, this sort of thing happened all the time. I would interrogate my art model to learn their darkest wishes, and then I would grant them. Most people who were drawn to apply the euphoria modeling gig generally had some sort of unspeakable darkness buried inside. Birds of a feather flock together, as they say. If I determined that I was able to grant their wish, and that they truly craved it from the bottom of their heart, I would respond to their email. Said, I rejected any desires pertaining directly to death, Not that I was afraid to die, but there was no coming back from it. Once I was dead, there was nothing left to look forward to. I could generally find out if someone's desire was the real deal by talking to them about it. I hoped that I could observe their emotional reactions through their smoke. If it wasn't the real deal, then I called the whole thing off on the spot. Thus far, I had never made the wrong call. By making use of my conversational skills and their smoke, I could get a near perfect read on people after saving like 3-4 times, but who's counting? This made them easy marks to manipulate. No one who modeled for me ever spoke of their euphoric episode to a third party. I chose the ones who I knew wouldn't turn around and regret it later. That was why I often went a few months in between pieces. Why was I so committed to drawing people's dark desires? Well, for one thing, it interested me, and for another, I lived for the exact moment where my model's dream came true and their every trace of rationality melted away like butter. It's interesting. A week after Ikuna's euphoric episode, once I was barely able to move again, I started camping out in my room to paint. Before Ikuna's contribution faded away entirely, I puked it out on my system, steadily drowning in my white canvas and paint. Now that I had entered the painting stage, I became a single-minded robot. Neither Taku nor Rei tried to interact with me, but just watched from the doorway. Anytime they tried to speak to me while I was painting, I just ignored them, so they had learned not to bother. I didn't even turn the TV on like normal. If at any point my brush felt still, it was so I could stare blankly into space, or pass out on the floor. By this point, they both just let me do my thing. Generally, the painting would take anywhere from a week to a month to reach completion. After Ikuna's euphoric episode, I called Rei to come get me. From there, he passed the message along to Taku, then came running to meet me. After all, the other euphoric episodes thus far, both Rei and Taku knew they would find me in dangerously bad shape. Once I finished the call with Rei, I passed out, and when I next awoke, I was lying on my bed. I couldn't remember anything that had happened after the phone call. I was told Ikuina was hospitalized at Takanokuchi medical office. While I recuperated in my room, Rei waited on me hand and foot. He handled all the chores Taku normally took care of, like laundry and vacuuming. He told me I totally owed him for this, but he seemed happy to do it. At the end of the day, Rei liked to look after people. Perhaps he was naturally inclined to help those in need. Interesting. 2 weeks later, I finished my painting. I barely ate or drank the entire time, so I was not emaciated and unsteady on my feet. Wow, that's not healthy. Since it wasn't safe for me to be walking around in that state, Taku and Rei demanded that I contact them as soon as my art was finished. That's crazy. Still seated in front of the easel, I pulled my phone out of the pocket of my coveralls. My fingers stained black with paint, slowly typed out a message to the Taku Rei group chat.
終わった
It's over? A short while later, Rei burst into the room. Yeah. He rushed over to me, looking deeply relieved.
体調は具合が悪いとかない
How do you feel? Are you sick at all?
酒。
は
What?
酒が欲しい。
I want booze. Instantly, the concern drained from his face, and he scowled.
口を開けば酒酒って。その前に食事よ。適当に買ってくるから待ってて。
It's always booze, booze, booze with you. You need to eat first. I'll go buy some stuff, so wait here. With that, he rushed out of the room just as fast as he'd arrived. It was like a walking tornado. I sighed and stared into space, my eye unfocused. I didn't even have the energy to get up from my seat. When I was painting, I scarcely felt the need to eat or use the restroom. He didn't shit? Or at least I couldn't remember feeling it. Oh my god, his bladder. What the fuck? Then after my piece was finished, it would all come rushing back, and I would remember I was a human being with basic needs. After that, the fatigue would set in and my body would turn to lead. So unhealthy. What the fuck? As I sat there at the easel with my brain switched off, Ray came back in. Both arms were ladled with heavy to-go bags from the corner store.
とりあえず買ってきたから食べて。
I bought a bunch of random stuff, so eat something. He cleared the junk off the coffee table and then used that space to line up each item side by side. Rice balls, sweet pastries, savory pastries, a salad, bottled tea, and some desserts. Surely he knew I couldn't eat all this. More proof of how worried he was, I suppose.
好きなものをどうぞ。
You can have whatever you want. As he spoke, he took one of the desserts for himself.
すごい量だな。
That's a lot. I rose from my seat and staggered over to the table.
あんたが何を食べるかわかんないから、いろいろと買ってきたのよ。パンでも何でもいいから、お腹に入れて。
Never know what you'll actually eat, so I bought a variety of stuff. Just put something in your stomach, even if it's just a pastry. I grabbed a pastry at random, then plopped down onto the sofa.
あ、そうそう。タクから聞いたんだけど、生稲さん、退院したって。
Oh, that reminds me. Taku told me that Ikuina-san was discharged from the hospital. Ray sat in a chair on the opposite side of the table and slid a spoon into a cup of pudding with lots of whipped cream.
あと、もうすぐクリスマスよ。うちの店でパーティーやるから。トアも体調が良くなってたら来てね。
Oh, and it's almost Christmas. We're gonna throw a party at the bar, so you should come by once you're feeling better. Every year, Roos put on a Christmas party. That said, the interior decor always ended up more reminiscent of Halloween, and the guests all wore unsettling costumes, staff included. In a way, it was fitting of Roost to celebrate the holy night in the most unholy fashion imaginable. Still, I had no interest in parties. I only went for the free booze.
ごちそうさまでしたっと。ねえ、完成した絵見ていい？
All done. Say, can I look at your painting now that it's finished? Having finished his pudding, Ray fixed me with a hopeful look.
ああ。
Sure. Fuck. He tossed the trash into the trash can, then walked over to the easel. He approached it from behind, then slowly walked around to the front, prolonging the moment before he laid eyes on my art. Took you 2 weeks to do that? Bro, you could do that in like 2 days though. Probably more detailed in person or some shit. Or maybe one day. He stared in shock, then shot me an impassioned look.
やだ。ちょっと。今回も素敵。いいわ。すっごくいい。
Oh my god. Seriously, you knocked it out of the park again. I love it. I really love it.
どうも。
Thanks. It probably would look way better in person, TBH. It's probably like really layered. Yeah, I imagine if this was in person, it would look really amazing. But as a digital recreation, it's kind of unimpressive. Responded curtly and set my pastry back on the table. I just couldn't will myself to eat it.
ほんと、あんたの絵って最高よね。本人と反比例して。写真を店のブログに載せてもいい？
God, your art is totally awesome. Unlike the artist, unfortunately. Can I post it to the blog? Sure.
ありがとう。
Cool. He pulled out his cell phone and snapped a few pics.
それにしても、生稲さんがモデルになるとこんな絵になるのね。トワの頭の中ってどうなってるのかしら。
That's really interesting to make like an abstract piece off of like a human's emotion. That's pretty cool. You know, I never imagined Ikarina-san would inspire something like this. Sometimes I really wonder what goes on the head of yours. He grinned down the photos he took. At this, I remembered I'd received a few emails from potential art models while I was convalescing. Wait, should I start a new stream? Because I feel like I'm on Ray's path now. Oops. I had procrastinated on checking them since I'd wanted to start working on Ikarina's painting right away.
メール見るの忘れてた。
I forgot to check my emails.
え？
え？
ユーフォリアのモデルの何件か応募が来てたな。
Art models for Euphoria. I got a few applications. Instantly, Ray's brow furrowed.
今はダメよ。もうちょっと休んでからにして。あんたの絵は楽しみにしてるけど、短期間で瀕死状態を繰り返されたくないわ。
Not right now, mister. You need to rest a little longer. As much as I love your art, I don't want to keep having near-death experiences one after another.
それに、クリスマスパーティーが近いって言ったばかりじゃない。年末くらい、のんびりしなさいよ。
Besides, didn't I tell you that the Christmas party's coming up? Take the holiday off, would you? After he finished nagging me like a surrogate mom, he glanced up at the clock on the wall.
それじゃ、そろそろ下に戻るわ。そんなに忙しい時間帯じゃないから、少しだけ抜けてきたのよ。ご飯、ちゃんと食べてね。
Well, I gotta go back downstairs. I just ran up here quick. Since we're not too busy, eat your food, got it? I wonder if we're ever gonna see Ikarina-san again. I feel like we're not going to, but I really would like if we would. I don't know. He pointed at the coffee table, then left the room. I grabbed the pack of cigarettes lying forgotten on the edge of the sofa and lit one up. Could you please eat something, bro? Please. I switched on the TV, and a ceaseless stream of sound filled the room, exhaling smoke. I turned my eye to the screen. Belatedly, I ruminated on the fact that Ikarina had been discharged from the hospital. But I had no further opinion on the subject. After each episode, I would lose all interest in the person who modeled for me. So I guess we're not gonna see him. Like a one-night stand, they were only ever a transient part of my life. I kind of feel this way towards certain art subjects too. That's interesting. Like usually when I've made a really elaborate piece that I did a lot of research on, I kind of don't really feel like exploring the subject again because I feel like I've already fulfilled that desire to make that subject, like give that subject a really interesting piece. I think I only re-explore stuff that I'm really into, but usually it's one-night stands for me too when it comes to art. This is usually stuff I don't post on the internet though, so I stared up at the ceiling and watched the cigarette smoke float away. The plot's much more interesting than, like, I don't know. Like, the main character is much more nuanced than the other main characters by Nitro Cairo, in my opinion. Rather interesting. Like, very flawed, but interesting. Oh, this is definitely the beginning of Race, though. Maybe I should stop here. Go ahead. Give me more. Ugh. Give me all you've got. Chapter 2. It's Ray, right? Brother. Yeah. Ah, let me save. Ah. I could keep bowing, but I have a lot to do, and plus, yeah, I want to start next time, like, this is the official start of Ray's Route, so I want to, like, make a new thing. Yeah, okay. Oh. End it there. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Ending it there because I want to start from the beginning of Ray's Route. So, ciao ciao for now. Bye bye. I'll be back next week for, yeah. Like, I plan to do this like twice a week. I was thinking of going longer, but no, let's end it here. I hope YouTube doesn't spank me for having a little bit of blood. It wasn't segs, so it should be okay.